What's going on, golf addicts? DB, Pat Perry, and producer Tony coming at you. And it's the new Thursday show. We don't know what it's called yet, because, we don't know. We want you to help us out, but we're here. We're here to talk about all things golf that have nothing to do with golf betting or DFS. Just golf news, stuff that goes viral, PGA Tour, LIV, stuff, with the real golf, whatever. We're just going to cover it all here in this quick show every single week. And hopefully we have a good time. We got a good time doing it. So, Pat, how we doing? You feeling good on this Thursday afternoon?
Feeling good. I definitely know one thing. We will have a good time.
We will have a good time.
I don't know about anything else, but I know that we'll have a lot of fun. And it's nice seeing Tony up here on the screen, too.
Yeah, Tony, how we doing?
Fellas, we're good. I'm excited for this show. Working with you guys last year with, some other things. We got the chance to dive into, what you guys are experts at as far as betting, DFS, all of the lines for each week on the PGA Tour as well as LIV. But getting the takes that you guys would have as far as just some of the just regular golf news stuff. I don't know. I found it entertaining. I really like diving into that and just talking about all kinds of different things. As the listeners see here and the viewers see, we've got a few of the topics up right now. I'm excited to try the format out, and hopefully the fans will like it.
I believe they will. We believe they will. There's a lot of places you could get content similar to this, but maybe this is just a good show for our diehard fans that enjoy interacting with us. So let's get into it. Where do we start?
Yeah, so this is going to cover all the news in golf. Obviously, we've been off for the last few weeks with the silly season that just finished up, the Century getting ready, actually kicking off right now. We're back in action on the PGA Tour, but we're going to look back at a bunch of the headlines over the last few months, whether it be news in the golf world, PGA Tour, LIV, golf in general as a whole, viral videos, which I mentioned that because we had one this morning that I think all of America, maybe even the world, was fixated on as far as Barstool's Jersey Jerry with his hole-in-one challenge on the golf simulator, going over, I believe, 36 hours, 37, 38, something like that. It was just awesome content. It was really fun. Over 2,600 swings that he took on a golf simulator, which that is just absolutely mind blowing. My back hurts just thinking about that. I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that as far as that stream.
Can I start here, Pat? Because this really captivated me. The Jersey Jerry stream captivated me. And I will say I was already a Jersey Jerry fan. I watched some of the Barstool content that he's in. He is a very lovable guy, kind of goofy, just kind of goes about his business. He is who he is, lovable as they come, sucks at golf, but you can tell the golf bug is clearly bitten him. And this stream was captivating. And I don't know how you could explain that to anyone that didn't actually turn it on. But when you turn it on, it was just so funny. He's standing there. He's got two gloves on. He's got one basketball shorts down to his lower shin. He's vaping. At one point, he just rips a fart. He's standing right over the ball. And you know how you're playing golf and you're you want to take it back because you feel like you've swung, you're standing over it too long, but you also want to fart, but you don't want to fart in the middle of your swing, so you decide to let it. That was happening. He had his boys coming in, giving him, inspirational messages. They put a mattress in the simulator room. He slept there overnight. This morning, they were shooting him up with IVs and vitamins, and he was getting stretched out by a professional. It was amazing content, and he finally gets it done on, I think it's the 7th hole at Pebble Beach. The downhill par 3. It was really, as I was watching it, I was like, I can't not see this happen live. I don't want to see it in a clip. I want to be there when it happens. It was truly one of those, where were you when Jersey Jerry made the ace? I believe that. I was starting to rearrange the child pickup plan this afternoon in the event he was still going.
I think I even saw that you tweeted you weren't even going to watch the Century until this even happened. I mean,
I think that stream did more for growing the game of golf than the PGA Tour and LIV and all this bullshit has done for since COVID. I'm dead ass serious. That is not a take for the internet. I'm dead serious. I really think it did so much for golf.
It probably did something for simulator companies too.
Yeah.
I mean, simulators are not something that like we're used to in the South, really. Like I just don't like where it's cold is where you're going to see a lot more simulators. So a lot of it was kind of confusing. I didn't know what he was doing with his golf club, like before he would hit. Like it looked like he was setting things up. I wasn't like you. I had a few other things I was doing. So I had to go back I had to go back and watch the video. So I was watching the live stream, but I just kind of went back a little bit to try and just see it live and not a clip. For me, I'm weird, DB. I wanted him to hit it on an even number shot. I did.
That's so ridiculous, dude.
And so then Portnoy tweeted out a T-shirt and it says like 26-27, and I'm like, damn it, why couldn't it just be 26-28? Like I didn't like that part, but you never know when it's going to happen.
Speaking of the T-shirt, I ordered it.
You already ordered?
I ordered.
I knew you'd already ordered the T-shirt.
I ordered the Legend Jerry shirt. The 2,627 strokes, one hole, January 2nd through January 4th. I ordered it. It was awesome. I'm serious. I think he did more for the game. It was just you had people. Everybody was bonding over it. Everybody and Barstool's audience is such a non-golfing audience, and they're beginner golf people, and it was awesome. I'm dead ass serious as that ball was going in the hole and it went in. I had there was maybe a full second where I almost choked up. Seriously.
Yeah. I didn't get there, but I wasn't watching it live.
It makes me think about this. Like, what can we do, Pat? What can we possibly do we're never going to have anything that's as viral as that because we don't have the Barstool thing. But, Pat,
it's such a simple idea.
You kind of remind me of Jerry. Not physically. You're far more handsome. You look like Hank Lebioda today, by the way. Great skin tone on you, that olive complexion that you've been gifted with. But you are kind of a lovable character. A lot of people like you more than they like me. But like, I was watching a post interview with Jerry on the Barstool radio show, and he said that he has a producer who he's started working with for the Jerry After Dark show. And a couple weeks ago, the producer had this idea about a basketball stream, and Jerry said, "This is a terrible idea. It's not going to work. Nobody's going to like it. Nobody's going to care. It's going to be boring." They did it, and it was a huge success. And Jerry looked at his producer and said, "From now on, I'll say yes. I'll just say yes. Whatever you be the idea guy, and I'll say yes." And then the idea came for the simulator. Jerry says yes, and bang. I think you are the TJ Jerry, and I think if me or Tony says this is the idea, I think we can figure it out. I think you got to do it. And I think it has a chance to take TJ to the next level. Tony, you agree?
Oh, absolutely. What's the book? There's a book about just saying yes to everything. Saying, maybe it's saying no to everything, but we'll just do the opposite.
No, I think
it's saying yes. No,
it's totally opposite. If you go back to the TJ show, it was not to say yes to everything.
True. That's true. I didn't think about that.
It's complete opposite.
That's true.
But look, I trust you guys. If y'all came up with a really good idea, we could do something. I don't know. We could figure it out.
I think the essence of that video to the stream is like you were getting there, DB. I mean, even from the little things like right before his backswing, he rips a fart. And as soon as I heard it, I had it in the background. I had a screen over it. I heard the fart, immediately start laughing.
Yeah.
And it's just you're hanging out with your buddies, the boys, just having a good time, that kind of thing. I think that's what things like that, when you have all of the crappiness, all of the, just shit showery of professional golf right now, where that's the essence, the true essence of golf is just going out there, playing the game with your friends, having a good time. That's what it is. So I think that's what they have that brand to be able to hit on that, where they're not so deep in it as far as, all right, Jerry's backswing here, coming down, all that, where you had Frankie and you had a couple of those other guys chiming in, and they even had some of the, PGA Tour pros and LIV guys calling in. Koepka, I think, was texting with Big Cat. Homo was chiming in, those kind of things too. So, but I think that's what it just, when you can feel like when one of these moments feels like you're just hanging out with your buddies, I think that hits us, that hits everybody. You don't have to be a golf fan. You don't have to be, specifically dedicated to the game. You just see some guys having fun and you can relate to that.
I loved it. I could talk about it for the whole show. It was fantastic.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think about it too, like that's the thing that golf needs to these, and that's why, like you're saying, it's growing the game more than anything has this year. Obviously, we're only 7 or 8 days into this year.
4 days,
but
Pat. It's January 4th.
It's drawn in more people than just the stuffiness that we see with golf, like with the PGA. With the things that are just happening in that front. So it is pretty cool to see, and I enjoyed it for sure.
Yeah, it was a good stream. It was a fun time. Guys, getting back to that professional golf that we were talking about, the big story over the last few months here was Jon Rahm going to LIV. This is a story that's been going on for, it seems like, the last 2 years, ever since LIV popped up, as far as them getting Rahm. Rahm was very adamant about not joining. Then he went silent for a few months. That just fueled the fire as far as these rumors. But he officially signed with LIV December 7th. Went on Brett Baer, had the Letterman jacket there. Just an all-time clip with that Letterman jacket. Just hilarious. But I wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on that. Just the move in general. You think that's going to draw more eyeballs to LIV? Obviously, Rahm won Century last year, so this is starting out the year for the PGA Tour, and they're again without one of their biggest stars.
Personally, for me, I would say that I don't think it's going to draw more eyeballs to LIV. I think, if anything, what it did, and this is kind of what you started hearing, because we'll get into Rory in a little bit, but if anything, it started to maybe bridge the gap a little more that we have seen between LIV and the PGA Tour. I think Rahm made a really good business decision, did it at probably the exact right time he should have, because we still don't have this whole framework agreement thing done with the PGA Tour and LIV. So he's kind of catching it at just the right time. He waited for that first huge wave of players to go. Yes, he had to kind of go back on some of the words that he had said about it, but is what it is. He got a huge bag of money. And then what could happen on top of that? All right, maybe there's a deal that's done, and he's still playing on both tours in some way. I don't know what that's going to look like, So in my mind, if anything, it just draws more attention, or it really kind of helps like play the hand a little more with what the PGA Tour could do. And so, but I still don't think you're going to get more eyeballs to LIV because of it.
I mean,
you'd still see the same people that are interested in LIV that were when, with the players they already have. I just don't think it's going to necessarily, like Rahm, to me, like I didn't tune in to watch golf just for Jon Rahm. So I don't see how that could like add a lot of eyeballs just to LIV.
I don't think I did either, but I think it's the sum of it all, right? I think it's, as you start to look at it, the top tier players at a LIV event, you can put up against the top tier players at a signature event on the PGA Tour. I mean, it's Koepka, it's Bryson, it's Cam Smith, it's Rahm, it's DJ. Like, that five is quite formidable. And I think Rahm does give it a lot of extra cachet just in the name value, the recognition, the way he plays golf, how fun he is to watch when he's on. I enjoy watching him. I would agree. I don't think I've ever like turned on to watch Jon Rahm, but I think he gives a little more than we may realize in terms of value to a tournament. And so I don't think the people who are completely anti-LIV are going to tune in now, but I think LIV has been teetering as they acquire new talent and another year progresses and the product gets a little bit easier to watch or different or whatever, or the sentiment around LIV becomes dulled, which it has. It's not as polarizing as it used to. It's not everybody talking about sports washing like they used to. It's now Rory softening. It's everybody softening. All of those things added together to me when you throw Jon Rahm in the mix makes it to where the people who were in the middle and weren't watching are more likely to go watch. Like I'm a little more interested now. Like I want to go watch it a little more with Rahm being there. But I guess time will tell. But it has definitely changed the landscape of the conversation. For the two tours existing together for sure.
What do you think the biggest factor in that softening stance is? Do you think it's just time? Do you think it's the amount of people that have gone and their consistency? Because even before LIV, there was the Super Golf League and the rumors of that, and they're backing So we're going on 5-6 years now. Or do you think it was the June 6th, framework agreement announcement and all of that, and then the backlash, not only just that, but then the backlash as far as the hard stance that Jay Monahan took against LIV, against the Saudis, and then kind of completely flipping that? Do you think that players, media, fans have kind of softened their stance because of maybe some animosity towards PGA Tour leadership? I mean, we even have Victor Hovland the other day and in a podcast talking about PGA Tour management and them not doing a great job over these last couple of years. Do you think that is more of a bigger role than maybe just the time aspect of the people softening their stance towards LIV?
Yeah, I think it's both. I think the time aspect always plays a factor when you have something new out there like LIV. Just like me. I mean, I'm a perfect example of that. I mean, when LIV first started coming out, I hated it. And I hated the idea of anything like messing up like the history of the PGA Tour and pulling players and doing all that kind of stuff. I didn't like the disruption that was going on. I still don't think people like the disruption. They want the game to be better for everyone, especially the viewers, which I feel like are the ones getting the most screwed right now. But I think as time has gone by, you start to understand players' reasons for jumping, or more about LIV, what they're doing, what they're trying to do. So in my mind, certainly time is something that is, kind of softened my stance on it. And I think most people that were kind of anti-LIV, and you get a little tired of it, especially if you're on social media, you get a little tired of the back and forth. And you're right. I mean, with the way the PGA Tour, like if you're a PGA Tour fan and you're not a LIV fan, right off the bat, you're wanting to see your leadership, like do the right things to try and either battle LIV or come together with LIV, but not really like totally botch the whole thing, which is what we've started to see as this has gone along. Players saying stuff about the PGA Tour, Monahan being less visible, not coming out and saying much, like all these little things that add up. You kind of start to kind of reverse your direction a little bit and be like, well, damn, this tour that I was defending is not doing anything, or they're not doing the right things to try and make things better for me as the viewer and me as a fan of the PGA Tour. So then you kind of, it creates that animosity. So you start to be like, all right, well, I guess this is how it's going to be.
It's all of that added up, and then when you start to see the dysfunction of the tour and the leadership of Jay Monahan, and then the players start chiming in, and it's the players who were so definitively against it and outspoken against it, like Hovland, like Rory, like Rahm making the switch. When you start to see that, you start to realize, like, yeah, this ship is sinking. It is sinking. So something has to give, and I think the human response is you start to soften on things that you were firmer on in the beginning, and you start to. I mean, we all love the sport. We all love watching the professional game. We all want to see everybody play together. We are sick of the drama, sick of the fragmentation. We just want to get back to golf. That's what it comes down to. So, Hovland's comments were interesting on that podcast interview in Norway. He went all in. I mean, I still don't know why. I still don't know how Jay Monahan is still here. That still blows my mind. Like, blows my mind. The dude is still sticking around. But I can't imagine he stays around for much longer. So we'll see.
And we saw him. We were in Sea Island at the RSM. You remember when we saw him in the Pro-Am playing with Davis Love?
Yes.
Even that day, he just looked. His body language looked terrible. Like, he just looked grumpy out there. He didn't look happy. Like, I don't know. It just, when you see, I mean, everything from a business to a sports league, whatever it is, it starts at the top, goes down. It's always that way. And Monahan just really has not done a good job and I was a huge Monahan fan. I like the fact that he kind of leaned into gambling a little bit more than you had seen before with the PGA Tour. So
yeah,
it kind of started off great with me. I was like, all right, this is good. And then it's just kind of totally gone downhill from there. And it's time for new leadership. It just is. There's no, I mean, you did what you did, Monahan. You've done it, gotten to this point. Let's move on.
Agree.
All right, fellas, speaking of moving on, we'll hit our next topic here, which is the golf ball rollback. The big decision from the USGA and the R&A a couple weeks ago announcing that they're going to roll the golf ball back, I believe, starting in 2028. Pat, I'll direct this one at you first. Just give me your overall thoughts on it. Do you think this is really that big of a deal for the average golfer, for the everyday golfer? I believe in their study, they said, the average golfer handicap is going to lose 3 to 5 yards from their drives, from their game. I don't see how regular golfers like, me, let's say you guys are better than I am, but I'm just going to keep playing the same golf ball unless they just completely wipe them out. But then you're going to have eBay. You're going to have these different shops where you can get, the 2017 Pro V1, Pro V1X, whatever. So, just give me your overall thoughts on that.
I mean, I don't want to hit it 3 to 5 yards less. I need 3 to 5 yards more. I mean, so, I don't even know if I understand exactly what it all means. Here's what I will say. Like, I used to putt with a long putter, and when they took out the long putter and they said you can't use that anymore, I stopped using it. And I think it was because of a stigma, like I'm going to be playing around with friends, and they're going to be like, well, you're not allowed to do that. Well, I'm not a pro. I don't know. So then are they going to are people going to be like, you're going to be sitting there with DB's going to be playing with me, and he's going to be looking at my golf ball. Pat, this ball doesn't conform. You can't play with this golf ball. And then the whole day I'm ticked off because DB found out I'm using the non-conforming golf ball. And so I'm probably going to just have to go with whatever the hell the golf ball is that we're supposed to be using.
I'm not going to be inspecting your balls that closely, sir. I can tell you that. I don't.
I will.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. And honestly, Tony, I hear what you're saying about that, about stocking up on golf balls and stuff. But after a year or two, you're gonna have lost all those balls, or they're all gonna be bought up by somebody. They're not gonna be available. You're gonna have to assimilate.
For you, it's like 3 months. You'll be running out.
Yeah, whatever. So I just think, I don't know. We're all gonna conform at some point. We're gonna conform, and it is what it is. I don't think it's gonna make that much of a difference, honestly, because I'm going to be punished more than you guys. I'm the bomber in the group. I don't even. It's going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. I don't want to hear anybody in here pissing and moaning about it. It's going to bridle me.
Don't you think there's part of this that's just way overblown?
Yeah,
I feel like literally, if you're hearing this as an just a non. You don't play golf whatever. You're just an amateur
you just got
into
it in COVID.
You're gonna be showing up on the first tee and having to use a golf ball that they use at putt or something, and the ball just dies out of the air after going 150 yards. That's just not what's gonna happen here.
Yeah.
But I do think there's a lot of people that think that all of a sudden they're just gonna be using a wiffle ball out there.
Yeah. I just don't. I don't care that much. I do think if something were to happen, they should have done something with the driver heads. I think that is actually a better solution, and we could get into all that. But hitting the ball with modern drivers today, it just fixes so many problems, and the ball goes so far off those faces. I think that would be the thing to do, but I still don't care. I'm still going to play it. And I play, I think I said this earlier in the year, I play it because of the feeling I get in my hands for that split second when I flush it. And that's still going to feel the same, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So,
agreed. All right, fellas, moving on to our next topic here. I wanted to go around the Caddie Carousel as we're getting into the new PGA Tour year. A few of them that I got here. We've got Joe Scovron. He went over to DB, your boy, Ludwig Oberg. I'm trying to pronounce it correctly.
Okay.
I think I messed up his first name there. Scovron coming off of Tom Kim's bag. So Kim replaced Scovron with Daniel Parrott. We got Paul Desori defecting from your boy Cam Young and going over to Brendan Todd's bag. Still haven't heard word on who is going to be on the bag of Cam Young, even out at the Century right now. And then one I looked up earlier and saw, and this is just a rumor, so we'll continue to perpetuate that, and we'll float it out there. John Wood is rumored to be looping for Tiger. However many events that he plays in the air. So we'll exclude Tiger from this. But out of those 4 that I gave you, we can well, let's say 3 since Cam Young doesn't have a looper yet. We got Oberg, Tom Kim, Brendan Todd. Who do you think benefits the most out of those 3? DB, we'll start with you.
Well, we do know Cam Young's guy. It's Wayne DeHaas, which I think was his college coach or something like that. So we do have that. It's hard not to say that it's Lud with Skovron. I don't really know or remember who Ludwig's guy was. I don't think it was a veteran caddy. Skovron's definitely a veteran caddy and did great with Fowler, did great with Tom Kim. He's we know that Skovron, we've interviewed Skovron before. He's a stat guy. He's a data guy. He's an analytics guy. Ludwig works closely with a stats and analytics guy. I think it'll be a good pairing. There may have been, his other caddy may not have been as much of a stats and data guy, may not have been as bought in maybe as Ludwig is from, in terms of like how to attack golf courses and improve his game. It's probably a great pairing. I think it's probably hard to know because we don't have enough of a sample size with Lud's other guy. I mean, obviously he came out hot and did well, but I think Skovron's a win for Ludwig.
Yeah, I think, when you look at these caddy changes, which we tend to see this time of year, for me, Joe Skovron with Ludwig is probably the most impactful one between all of these. And obviously he's the most impactful player. I mean, he's the guy that we feel like is probably one of the next, top golfers in the world. Just has been on an immediate trajectory towards that. So I definitely think that's probably the biggest one. I will say this. I think Paul Tesori with Brendan Todd is a good one. I mean, when you think about who Tesori was with for a long, long time with Webb Simpson, that was a great pairing for those two. And then it just kind of, ran its course like this. We see this tend to happen. To me, Brendan Todd and Tesori are a better probably mix than you see with Cam Young and Tesori. And who knows, maybe that was a temporary thing. And we just didn't know it, that Tesori was just going to kind of run out the rest of the year with them. But I do like that pairing of Tesori and Brendan Todd a lot.
Maybe Tesori's strictly a short knocking caddy. Maybe he couldn't handle the pop in the bat for Cam Young and all the short irons and wedges into greens. Maybe he wants to have a 7-iron into a green and be able to talk to a guy about that. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, it could be. So I agree.
All right, fellas. Last couple topics I got here for you. All right, we'll go back a couple weeks again to Tiger and Charlie Woods playing at the PNC Championship. Got a great meme to come out of it. That's just been driven into the ground by the PGA Tour. But I wanted to get your thoughts on kind of just that season overall, the silly season. I feel like that event is just the perfect time for that. The time of year is a perfect time for that event. It's playing with your kids. There's no stress, anything like that. You still get a good little mix of golf while getting a decent break from, now that the PGA Tour season from ending in August and then starting again at the beginning of the year. So I feel like that's a perfect time for that. And then I want to get your thoughts on maybe some expectations for Tiger this year. He said he's going to play 8-9 events. Obviously everything going around on social media, anytime he posts something, even of just him walking, everyone loses their mind. So Pat, I'll throw that one out to you first.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Tiger, anytime he's playing is gonna get eyeballs, and I'll watch it. I mean, I think the Charlie Woods stuff is a little bit annoying, to be honest. Let's just wait to see what happens with him. The meme that you're talking about, I can always tell when my friends that are non-golfers are paying attention because they just send me constant different versions of that meme, which I think I got like 10 of them over Christmas. But it is good to see Tiger playing again. I don't mind the silly season either. Fred Couples actually, I think, said once that he made more money during the silly season than any other time during his career. So, I think it's fun to watch. I do miss the Skins game. I want the Skins game to come back. I used to love watching that. You had John Daly and that. You had all the old players. Freddie Couples, of course, because that's when he won all the money. Now you probably just have to give all your money to charity anyway if you win money in the silly season, so it doesn't matter. But as far as expectations for Tiger, we'll see. If he's healthy, I think, it just depends on the tournament. You know, you look at Augusta National, he always tends to compete well there. Certainly could see him making some cuts out there. But it's all going to come down to his health. I don't know if he'll play 7 or 8 golf tournaments, which I think he may have indicated, or some have indicated. I think it may be less this year and kind of move into maybe 7 or 8 next year, but we'll see.
I don't mind the silly season. I don't think it's great. And I think if it wasn't Charlie and Tiger, nobody would give a rip about the PNC Father-Son Challenge. Nobody would. Like, it's only because Tiger and Charlie play in it that people care. I don't. And I definitely get overwhelmed with the Charlie Tiger content. Now, the big dog meme was great. It's a great meme. It just is. And personally, I've saved the meme to not used now, but I want to use it. That's a good one to use in like 6 months after people have kind of forgotten about it. It's like a callback joke in a comedy routine. That's good. You know, like that's when you hit it again. You hit them with that at the Open, and people are like, God, that was a good meme. You know what I mean? Because they hadn't seen it in a while. So I'm kind of saving it for that. I need to make a reminder in my phone to use that. And I also see that being really applicable when we have our first Tour Junkies Live event this year, and somebody that was at Golby's Cup in 2022 is there, and they see Pat, and they're like, Pat, we meet again. What up? And he's like, big dog. Hey, you know, I totally see that. I totally see that happening. So I'm really glad it gave us that. So yeah. Other than that, I'm kind of out on the silly season. Whatever.
No Skins game, no. Vegas, Netflix Cup, anything like that?
Did you say Netflix Cup? That sounds like a different kind of game. I don't think I played that game before.
It's gonna be the Tour Junkies.
I don't personally. I don't care. Now, if it helps put eyeballs on the sport and grow the game, sure. But I don't care.
Any expectations for Tiger?
I think Pat nailed it. Augusta, the expectations would be through the roof. Everything else, you're just happy to see him You're just happy to see him there, and the expectations will build based on his early performances. If he plays the Genesis or something and looks decent, like makes the cut, finishes top 40, then the next time he tees it up, wherever it is, the expectations are going to get raised. So, but I don't have any of that to start. Like, great to see him tee it up. I want to see him tee it up. I hope he makes the cut. That's my expectation.
Level-headed take on Tiger. I don't think we're used to that in the golf world. All right, fellas. Last one I got for you here. A lot of changes coming to broadcasts in 2024 as far as the golf world. DB, pour one out for your boy. Paul Azinger will no longer be on the NBC broadcast. I know you're crushed.
Part of me's going to miss him.
So going off of last week, we had the Arizona Bowl and bowl season with, again, Barstool broadcasting that. They have their own personalities doing the broadcast for that. Dave, Big Cat, were in the booth for that. They've all, Foreplay did a Corn Ferry Tour event last year. Again, had all of their personalities just broadcasting it. Even going back to some of the majors last year, No Laying Up had an alternate broadcast on the for the PGA Championship. So I wanted to throw this out to you. DB, we'll start with you. What would a Tour Junkies golf broadcast look like? What would you guys do different than, let's say, ABC or CBS, NBC do differently? Even would you take some of the things that the Barstool guys have done? Who would you have in the booth? Who would you have down, as a rover on the course? What would an event look like for you guys broadcasting it?
Well, the easiest decision is Pat is 100% playing the role of Peter Costas back in the day. I remember, I will never forget walking Quail Hollow at the PGA Championship, sweating my dick off in the 99 degree. You remember this, Pat?
Yeah,
absolutely miserable. And we run up on Peter Costas, who at the time had to have been 70-something years old. And he's got this big thing over him with the TV screen, the big TV screen attached to the shoulder harness. Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah.
Sweating bullets and humping this golf course, following these groups around. And I was absolutely amazed. I took a picture with him. And I want Pat on the ground. I want Pat on the ground, microphone. I want I want Mike in people's faces. I want Pat offering possibly tips, short game tips, unsolicited. Pat is on the mic roving the golf course. Possibly at times, I think we would get Pat off the course and divert attention away from the golf at times to interview attractive women in the stands or possibly drunk people or somebody that just said something dumb after find the guy who just yelled mashed potatoes and put a mic in his face and rip him a new one or something. It would be like a live broadcast meets like a rough and rowdy from Barstool. We would want to create some drama. If there wasn't already some drama, we would make our own. I just think all of that. Options. A lot of betting content, obviously, a lot of on-screen betting stuff, maybe betting on weird stuff. I think we would just have to create our own chaos. Pat, anything else you want to add to that before we wrap?
Yeah, I think for me to be out there roving around would be the best thing ever. Now I will add there would be one thing that you would notice about me roving around the golf course that would be different than Peter Costas, and it'd be this right here on my hat. Okay, that's a transfusion, and that would be in my hand, and I would be able to do that. Now I can't go overboard. We could have a tracker at the bottom of the screen, like this is how many transfusions Pat had, and we gotta all right, let's slow down or something, or speed it up, whatever. Like if if I'm not drinking quick enough, keeping your levels right. We talk about doing a member guest, but and everybody's got to be accepting of it. I don't want to hear any. It's just DB's going to have to keep my levels at the right. So there's just being a leveling thing on the.
I just had a brilliant idea. We need to talk more about this off script. Maybe the people in the comments can drop what they would add to a TJ broadcast. By the way, like and subscribe if you've not already, please, and give us a suggestion for the name of this damn show. But we need to have Pat not walking. I just take it back because I want him to be fresh. Pat, think of Pat on a Segway, a Tour Junkies Paul Blart Segway with dual cup holders, microphone, like maybe a built-in like a headset mic so you can have your hands ready to go, and just all-terrain tires to be able to go anywhere on the premises on the property to do your thing.
And to react quickly to something. Like if I see somebody like 2 holes away that is just Baba Booey, just like
you just get that lean with it and you go chase that drunk ass dude down or something.
That little alert thing, like in cart narcs where the guy has a little
Yes, dude. Yes. This has to happen somehow. Personally, too, I think it would be fun to have, if we could pay for it, one day, if the Impractical Jokers could come and they could be in Pat's ear giving him things to say. That would be fun. If we can't have Impractical Jokers, we could have, I tell you what, I think we should find a way to, and he's going to get a big head after I say his name right here. I know he is. But faithful Tour Junkies listener and longtime funny dude.
Yeah.
Who made a name for himself at Golby's Cup by coming out to the first tee 100 yards from the clubhouse in nothing but a thong. Josh Kistler would need to be somehow involved in the broadcast team, whether he's in Pat's ear or he's another man on the street or he's maybe Pat's handler. I don't know. I don't know. That could be a good time. Tony, do you have any ideas, producer Tony? Now that we're rolling here, this is a creative session.
I was going to say, you could have him doing the post-round interviews, but he's got to be in his thong. That's how he does his post-round interviews. I was going to add something.
I want people's eyeballs to turn away from the screen, Tony. We were trying to keep our eyeballs on it.
I like the entertainment aspect in the booth and not just necessarily, hey, here's a guy breaking down the shot that we just saw, but maybe a little of that without so much of the expertise, but then adding some funny, some comedy, something like that. Like I know a guy like Nate Bargatze. He is obviously a great comedian, a big time golfer. Having somebody like that, where you get them in the booth for a little bit, get them comfortable, get them feeling good. I think that could be something that that reminds me of the Dennis Miller from 20 some years ago.
I was just thinking, but that was kind of a failed project, wasn't it? When they added Dennis Miller to the Monday Night Crew.
I feel like it was a failed project then, but looking back at it,
maybe they were ahead of their time.
I wonder how something like that would be received now. You've got all the different alternate broadcasts and whatnot now. You've got the Manning cast, you've got all these different things. So I wonder how something like that would be perceived now, as opposed to, the stiffiness of 20-some years ago.
I think it could be fun to have some non-golf people that are noobs to golf, but also good personalities. I mean, everybody knows I'm a huge Theo Vaughn fan. Theo Vaughn in the booth, who's played some golf very casually, who's been to the Masters one time. Theo Vaughn in the booth would be hysterical.
I think if you did that, though, you'd have to kind of like rotate some of that out. In general, I think if you let's say I'm out roving around, and we can wrap this up, and DB's in the booth, like having like a golfer, former pro that's very entertaining, also kind of more consistently in the booth, but then bringing in some of the comedians like that could be fun. I don't know, but it would certainly be more entertaining than what we got right now. That's all I know.
Great ideas. Love it. Good first show, boys. Thank you to producer Tony. Thank you, Pat. Thanks for everybody watching. Like I said, like, subscribe, comment what would be involved in our tournament broadcast, as well as what to name the show. All right. Thanks. Have a great week. Be back next week. We got the Sony Open coming and another episode of Fill in the Blank, This Golf Show. See ya.